His dream was to be a doctor, but currently he's a big player in cinema business.
The problem is that a lot of people don't look at business. They look at the creativity, the show, not the business.
He set up Nigeria's film house, but after a slight business fallout with his partners, he sold his shares.
I'm going to pay back the bank and my shareholders, yeah? I'm going to play what you are going to pay to see so that I can pay back the bank. I'm not here to do charity.
Currently, he's building the biggest cinema in Africa. Our time with Mr. Mkparu was not only inspiring, but shockingly educative.
If you want to make money, go for what will make money. If you want to win awards, go for awards.
Welcome to the maiden edition of The Gist on Anedo TV. My name is Amaka and I have my co-host in the studio,
Ogemde.
Okay, today on The Gist on Anedo TV, of course it's the maiden edition. We'll have a very important personality with us here who is going to tell us more about the media and the cinema in Nigeria and in Nnewi, Africa and the world at large. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me as we make welcome Mr. KOMWORLD. Or rather, Mr. Kene Mkparu.
It's good to be here.
Okay,
you're welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
Super excited to be sitting, interviewing Anedo TV. Excellent. Fantastic.
Yeah. Good. So, before this interview, I was doing a small research on you. So what I saw, got my eyebrows raised. I discovered that you studied biochemistry. Then you went to primary school. It was even when you went to England to study toxicology that you found yourself in a cinema house. So I'm just wondering the crazy transition to that.
Yes. Yes, I for my first degree in the University of Nigeria in Nsukka, I did biochemistry and zoology. But I was doing pre-med. Okay, so what happened in my jam? I got 255, and I thought my world had ended. Because my colleagues, my friends, even those that are more, you say, more, what do you say, you catch a mala kuko. The Sabi book pass kind of thing.
Yeah.
We're scoring 300, and the list was 293, and I scored 255. Till today, I don't know what happened. They say it's negative marking, I don't know what that means. And so I thought my life had ended. I'd lost my dad at that point, probably 18 months earlier.
Okay.
So I gave up on life, so to speak. So somehow my mother went to Nsukka and spoke to people back, so they now took me on to do biochemistry and zoology, but do pre-med courses, parasitology and genetics or something. Okay. And if you pass it, just switch. Yeah. I aced it, but I didn't want to switch anymore because I didn't want to stay long in Nigeria anymore. I wanted to stay 4 years or youth service 5 years. But if I switched to medicine, I'll stay like 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I decided I wasn't going to do medicine anymore. By the time I finished university and youth service, I still wanted to, all my life, I was only wanting to be a doctor. I was interested in physics, chemistry, biology, maths, and English. But the government said you must do 7 subjects in WASC or WAEC or GCE as you call it now. Yeah? So I did Tumbom, so don't give me, and I landed on geography and literature.
Oh,
to Lagos.
wow. Okay.
I was good at French, finance, all those things. But I just needed 2. But all I was interested in the 5. Yeah. And so hence when everything, my life was to be a doctor. Then what happened in JAM happened, what happened in university happened. But by the time I was finishing university, I now didn't want to be a patient doctor. I didn't want to be seeing patients. I wanted to be a research scientist.
Okay.
And hence I went to England to study toxicology or biopharmaceutical sciences. Basically people that design medicine. So I would have been one of those people finding the cure for Ebola or COVID. Or all this. That's what I was studying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whilst I was studying it, I got a job in the cinema. First of all, it was KFC in the UK. Yeah. As a student, I was so good at the KFC job that they made me the head of the kitchen. I still know how to mix the thing.
Okay.
Pick up two, just tap your hand, shakes up the flour, put it there to fry. Your perfect, fried chicken. Then the cinema was across the road there, and somehow I moved to the cinema, got a job there. Still as a student, tearing tickets, cleaning, selling popcorn, all that kind of cashier, everything, usher. And I was doing that whilst I was studying. Because I was now in the cinema, I now wanted to be a forensic scientist. CSI Miami,
Okay,
the detectives, they use, that's now what I was studying because it's all connected, I liked cinema business, I liked cinema management, finished my studies, I stayed in there. And a general manager, this is the biggest cinema in Europe, not just in UK, Odeon Cinema.
Odeon Cinema.
And a general manager, Australian guy, because after 12 weeks, 3 months, you must give somebody contracts. That's the law. Yeah. So he came to me, we better give you a contract. I said, I'm not interested in a contract. He said, what are you interested in? I said, your job.
Wow.
I said, I like what you do.
Yeah, that's
what do I have to? I have a motto in life. At the age of 12, I developed this motto, and it's learn what it takes, understand what is required, and play a part in implementing what is needed. So I asked him years later. Then I said, "What do I have to learn to get your job? What do I have to study? What do I have to understand? Tell me, I'll do it. If I have to go back to university, I will do it. I just like this job. I just like this industry." And so, long story short, I then became a supervisor, became a trainee assistant manager, became an assistant manager. Anyway, from the point I asked him that question, 3 years later, I became his colleague. I became a general manager. I became the first black general manager in the biggest cinema chain in Europe. This was in the mid-90s. And then my career really started. And I worked in different parts of UK before moving to Nigeria. So that's how I moved from medical field
to cinema.
So the closest thing I will do now in medical field is if somebody is acting a film and they need advice on medical terminology, I can help small.
Yeah. But any regrets so far on switching the career path?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
So was it about the money in the cinema, or you like the finesse and everything that comes with it?
At that level, there's more money in the medical field.
Okay.
My doctor friends, a lot of them, most of them are all surgeons and consultants and all that stuff. At that level, they make far more money.
Okay. Did you meet because while researching, I saw you're close to Omalo.
Yeah, Bennett.
Yeah. So you met him in school?
Yes, we're all in pre-med school. Bennett Omalo is remember Will Smith did a film playing a Nigerian guy.
Yes.
Yeah. A Nigerian doctor guy that found this thing about head injury in America. Yeah, we were in class.
Wow, that's cool.
In fact, when they released that film, I spoke to him, and I remember because Will Smith used kind of South African accent or Nigerian accent, and initially we were not happy. But when you understand the business of film, you'll understand why it was done. And we spoke to the president of Sony at the time, and Bennett explained to me, that he wasn't happy initially. Even Will Smith's voice coach wasn't happy until everybody understood the business of film. And the minute he mentioned the business of film, I say, speak no more. I get it. Yeah. See, if you want to tell your message to a large population, you must communicate the way the population will understand. Majority of people don't understand the typical Nigerian accent. Because the accent you find in films like Wedding Party or Tinsel is not, you get what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you
this show now is standard English that we're speaking. But that's not a lot of what you find when you go on YouTube and see a typical Nigerian film, they aren't speaking like us, but we're all speaking English.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's difficult to understand. That's not to say we're speaking bad English, it's just an accent.
Yeah, accent. Yeah.
You know, it's like somebody speaking, you know, Liverpoolian accent. Speaking pure English, but it's just a different accent. Doesn't mean that which one is better or not, it doesn't matter, you know.
Okay.
But the fact of the matter is that you want to tell this message of a Nigerian doctor that discovered this to the whole world, then you must speak in a way that majority of people will understand you. Otherwise, you're not communicating.
Exactly.
You know? And so I get it. You know, when it comes to the business of film, you know, people have to understand that. So yeah, benefit.
Good. So before your move into the cinema, did you ever feel you had film business, you know, in you?
I think so, because growing up, I mean, before I was born even, my father used to record cine camera kind of thing. He used to make films, you know, just normal, the way we do selfies now. When he was abroad, he used to kind of record films. And when he was chasing my mom, then
Were you there?
I saw the evidence.
Okay. I recorded.
Yeah. And then when we were growing up, he used to show us films, you know, like cartoons and all that kind of thing. And we still have that projector till today.
Oh.
And the films are still there till today. You know, so growing up, even up till my university days, when you really look back, film was in my family.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
and because my father used to make films, not commercial films,
Not commercial.
home videos, home
More like documenting everything.
documenting home life,
Yeah.
our life. You know, like now we take videos on our phones, kind of thing. He used to do that, and he would go and develop the films, bring them back, we'll play at home. So yes, I think
You had it
somehow
in
it was in the blood.
Wow.
At what point did Film House and the Film One come into
Okay,
this
so 2008, I decided to come to Nigeria to set up, because cinema was now developing in Nigeria from 2004. Modern cinema started coming out in Nigeria. So 2008, I came back, partnered with a friend of mine, Nato Razulike Chief, and we set up Genesis Deluxe Cinemas. And from there, 2 years later, 18 months later, I now set up Film House Cinemas and Film One distribution and production. And within a couple of years, 2.5 years thereabouts, Film House became the third biggest cinema chain in Africa and the biggest in Nigeria. Yeah. And then Film One got very into film production and distribution, also representing 20th Century Fox at the time and Warner Brothers. Film One also produced films like Wedding Party, Moms at War, a whole lot of films that executive produced.
But did you understand what you took a big risk leaving your role in UK to Nigeria? So what convinced you that Nigeria was ready for that cinema business?
If you really understand, if people really understood what opportunity means, opportunity is not really where things are. Opportunity is where things are not, but there's a possibility of it.
Okay.
If you look at the early explorers, you know, a lot of Europeans, they just got on the ship and went to find something, explore, you know, and then they landed in strange places. Opportunity, yeah. And then sometimes they land somewhere and then interact with natives. Let's forget the bad things they did, and then discover some things in the land, and then bring back some samples back to Europe or wherever they left, yeah, and raise more money to go back and explore more. So that's the way I see it. And if you look at the good book, for those that read a certain good book called the Bible, it says there was this man that went to a land and found something in the land beside the land, like treasure, and nobody was looking. He covered it and went home and sold everything that he had, yeah, to be able to buy that land. So opportunity is not very clear to people. People don't see it, you know. People don't see opportunity. but certain people see it because you get signs, you know. So when you say risk, I don't necessarily see it as risk.
Okay.
That's not to say it's easy. It's
Okay.
not easy, but it's. I don't use the word risk. You know. When I left England to come here, it was clear in my mind that I'm not going to find Piccadilly Circus or Leicester Square or all those things.
Okay.
Even though I know Nigeria well, but in my mind, what I was looking at is the deepest forest in Opo, my mother's village. That's where I was going.
Wow.
Okay.
That's the picture in my mind.
Wow.
I was going to the deepest forest to live
Wow.
on trees.
Okay.
So if I now land here and there's AC, okay, good. But if I had come and I was thinking of Leicester Square and all that stuff, yeah, if you come here, NEPA takes light once, you get frustrated. So I don't, I will sleep on the floor if necessary as you're building what you're building, So I didn't come with a mind that I must have
Everything you needed.
toothpaste.
Yeah.
If there's no toothpaste in any shop, I go back to how my grandfathers used to do. I go and find that tree and cut the branch.
Okay.
The important thing is that you cleaned your mouth and your teeth. How you cleaned it is not really the most important thing.
Okay.
It's just the packaging in life today that says you're going to stick a branch in your mouth. But I'm saying that if you're in the jungle and there's no toothpaste, you find a way to clean your teeth and your mouth.
Yeah.
So that's what we do,
Okay.
And I see Africa and I see Nigeria as a swampland, marshland, swamp full of snakes and alligators and crocodiles.
Yeah.
If you put your leg in there, they'll bite. But one fact remains true, that in that swampland with snakes and alligators and everything, there's gold and diamond. That's the fact of the matter. And this is everywhere in Africa. The biggest ones are places like Congo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nigeria has got a lot. So what I do is I get into that swampland, maneuvering, dodging the snakes and alligators. Every now and then you pick gold, and then you develop something. So and then I say to people, particularly Nigerians and foreigners overseas, I say to them, I invite them to come, bring your expertise. Let's find a way to maneuver around these difficulties and mine and explore and exploit what is in our land for the betterment of the place.
Oh, wow.
And also we bring doctors. Because when snake bite you, they will clean you up and patch you up. You go back in the So I bring people with the technical skills we need, join with the people here with certain technical skills as well. We make it right. So year after year, you see, we're putting something better and better. If you turn around 5 years later, that's one plan. Suddenly, it's skyscraper in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I see opportunity. So I didn't leave the gold and diamond there. I was already seeing bigger gold and diamond here.
Yeah.
But it's just that it's not clear. Yeah.
Okay, I'll take you back to the film house and the film one. You established it from the scratch, and when it got more lucrative, you left. Was there a fallout, or you resigned, or there was some issues,
when you set a vision, and that's usually with entrepreneurs, a lot of times people don't get your vision, or your vision is just too, you're in your hand.
It's too big?
It's just too big for
them
people
to understand.
just understand.
Okay.
And especially when you bring certain investors in, it's just too big for them to understand, And people like to play safe,
Okay.
Let's just build that type, just that small one, Me, I like to go big. Big doesn't necessarily mean you won't have small locations, but just think big outside the box, and just smash that thing, and I can paint that picture. So, especially when people put money in the business, suddenly everybody feels they have a vision, and so the way I put it again, I like to use the stories in the good book to do business. For those that understand the story of Joseph, who was told that he would be governor at some point, or leader of people or men, and was thrown into all sorts of jungle. But he went from being sold in slavery to being sold to be a servant in a rich man's house. You know, upper class of society. And there he became the head of the servants. So he applied the skills and became the head of the servants.
You really do.
Yeah, and at some point something happened and they threw him into the deepest of the dungeons, the jails. And if there, he became the head of the, you know,
The inmates.
And those inmates are like real hardened criminals.
Yeah.
You know. So the point I'm trying to make, and then from there he went to the palace and became
the Prime Minister.
Yeah. The point is, when you have a vision somewhere, a lot of times you go through certain training, and it would have appeared in Potiphar's house, the big rich man's house, that's the vision. He was the leader of at least 40 servants. Yeah. But that's not the vision. The vision is the palace. Yeah. So sometimes certain things are stepping stones, even though they look nice. So Film House and Film One were stepping stone to KOMWORLD.
Okay.
You spoke much in parables. Was the appointment terminated or you resigned? You walk away?
I wasn't appointed. I owned the company.
You owned the company. So why did you abandon it at some point?
Because the KOMWORLD vision, which would have been in Film House basically, was very alive in me. And we kind of, the opinions were separate, you know. And they thought, you know, they could move a certain direction.
They, in quotes, the shareholders?
Everybody, yes.
Okay, the investors,
and,
okay, fine.
And well, we ended up in court actually, and you know, at that point, you know, I'd already started the journey in KOMWORLD.
So now, do you still have a stake in Film House?
I've sold that.
Okay, got it.
Now let's bring it down to KOMWORLD.
Yes.
Down to KOMWORLD. So again, I know I've asked this question somewhere else, but this is the maiden edition of the Gist on Anedo TV, and so many persons were not there when I asked you, why Anambra, why Nnewi, why not Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Asaba, why?
Yes. Okay, so the thing again, I like to go where things are not and create stuff, especially where I see opportunity. If you look at the cinema, the map of Nigeria, and look at the spread of cinemas, there's a lot in Lagos and the southwest, a lot in the south, a lot in Abuja central, not a lot in the southeast and the north and the far north. But that's opportunity I see.
Okay.
You know, so the southeast as a whole was a huge opportunity waiting to happen. I mean, gold waiting to be mined there. And I thought I better go in there before people start coming in. You know, you know, a lot of people from the southeast. Over the years, historically, especially since the Civil War, they believe to make money you have to move out of Igbo land. So that's stuck in our minds. You know, that to make money you have to go out. But I work based on fact and data. A lot of Nnewi billionaires didn't get on their first leg of multi-millionaire from outside. They did it in Nnewi.
They started here, yeah?
Yeah.
True.
But people are not looking at those facts, you know. And I look at the spending behavior in Nnewi. I didn't set up this first one in Nnewi because I'm from Nnewi. No.
Okay.
That's a very tertiary reason. The primary reason I set up business here is because of the economic and the commercial viability of that business.
Okay.
I did a lot of study on this, you know. Nnewi, over 40 manufacturing industries. The engineers and the technical people and the senior managers of this, are they villagers? You know. Nnewi has 12 tertiary education institutions. 12. 9 in Nnewi and 3 on the outskirts of Zobolo, Keja and Oba. 50,000 students every year.
Yeah.
800 NYSC.
800,000?
800 NYSC students in Nnewi alone. Yeah. 500 graduate internship. You know, after graduation, some people go straight to NYSC, some people have to do internship before NYSC. You know, so 500 internship, 800 NYSC, 1,300 graduate workers, youth service guys, every year in Nnewi alone. Yeah. I can go on and on and on. Who would have thought that a coffee shop will work in Nnewi? People are not even drinking coffee, they're drinking cappuccino. The exotic one.
Okay.
You see traders finish from the market, they're drinking coffee, they're cappuccino. Eating Caesar salad, parfait, pizza, burgers in the same place. At some point, that guy was killing 5 cows a week for the beef. I haven't counted chicken, egg, and fish.
Wow.
The problem
That's
is
huge.
that a lot of people don't look at business. They look at the creativity, the show, not the business. I look at the numbers. Like in my business, when I say, "Oh, how are we doing today?" and somebody says, "Oh, we're doing well," you can't answer me in my business that way.
Okay.
What does that mean? We're doing well, or we're not doing well, or it's good. What does that mean?
And one day statistics.
Give me numbers.
Okay.
Yes. Give me numbers. Give me statistics. Give me insights. Then we can talk business. So I look out for all those kind of things. Hotels in Nnewi. A nightclub opened in Nnewi. Yeah?
Yeah, recently.
Recently, there are 2. The bigger one opened in Nnewi. In 4 hours, 70 million naira plus revenue. How?
Okay.
There's a lot of money. Nnewi has the highest disposable income compared to anywhere in Nigeria outside Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt by a mile. Nnewi has far more disposable income than Owerri, Ibadan, Jos, Oka, Onitsha. These places I've mentioned have more money coming in, especially if state capitals, FAC, their federal allocation. When I'm talking about disposable income, they can't compare. Onitsha cannot compare.
In 2017, you had an interview with the Vanguard newspaper where you told them that what you considered that made you come to Nigeria was a nightlife in Lagos. So when I think about it, in Nnewi here we don't have nightlife. So how do you reconcile your decision to move from UK to Lagos and Lagos to Nnewi to come and start another cinema business? Because Nnewi has no nightlife. It's actually non-existent.
2003, I started visiting Nigeria again. I moved back 2008. I remember vividly in that 5-year period, and I was coming like 4 or 5 times every year. I'll speak to bankers, I remember, Tony Elumelu, one of Tony Elumelu's executives I spoke to that time. I said, no, nightlife, no, cinemas won't work in Nigeria. I said, but what's driving that thought? What's driving it? No, it won't work. The next year, 2004, a cinema opened in Nigeria, Silverbed, Victoria Island. Opened and became the busiest cinema on a film-by-film basis in the whole of Africa. They were minting money, so much so a bank just opened their vault, build more. Nigerians, we work by sight. We don't work by business plan or faith. We work by sight. Make I see and for eye.
Exactly.
That's how we work, but that's bad, and so I can give you so many more examples, and people say, oh, it can only work Lagos Island. It's because it's Lagos Island. My first cinema was in Surulere. When we were building it, no, people don't go out. I said to people, I started coming back 2003 because I didn't work in Nigeria outside youth service, so I could not claim that I know society.
Yeah.
And so 2003, I started studying it. I'll stay in Lagos, I'll stay in Enugu, I'll stay in different places, and I'll go out at night. All the nightclubs were doing well. So when you say there's no nightlife, I don't understand what you mean, because the nightclub is busy. That one is busy. Toyin Street, or maybe in Ikeja, Toyin Street, or all those places. Allen Avenue. They're all packed full. I'm like, I don't understand the state. I don't take what people say if it's not fact. So how can you say nightlife doesn't exist?
Okay, let's talk about
what I saw didn't exist is family nightlife.
Okay.
Family nightlife. Because sometimes people say nightlife is not there because of security. That's not true. The reason why these things are not there is because you haven't given them the thing. That's why it appears like Nnewi doesn't have nightlife there.
Okay.
Last night, I can tell you, I got home just before midnight. Just getting from the hotel in Ugwabatil's, the new hotel there. We left there after the Nigeria played, and then the other game, the halftime, I think it was about 10:30. And you know, down that police place was the area command.
Yeah, they blocked it.
So we went through the market and got stuck in the market. This was now 11 something.
Yeah.
Because they're building the road. Yeah. So we couldn't connect teaching hospital. So we now came out of Amoko and came down that road towards teaching hospital. They blocked it again. And of course, all the side roads, the gates are locked. How did I get back? Went back to Amoko. Bishop Uzodike ended up in Nob, outside the Navy. We came down Roban. That's how I came home.